If you like this story, subscribe please. Chapter 1. The door she did not open. Serena Vale heard her future end through a half-open door. I cannot stand beside her tomorrow, Maribel whispered inside the council chamber. She looks at me as if I stole something. Alphaire, Cedric answered in the soft voice he no longer used for Serena. You did not steal anything. Serena is strong. She can bear disappointment. Serena stood in the corridor with one hand pressed to the cold stone wall. In her other hand was a folded healer's report. Moon-wasting condition. Estimated remaining life, 3 years. She had come to tell her fiancé she was running out of time. Inside the chamber, Maribel gave one of her small, perfect coughs. Cedric moved at once. Serena heard his chair scrape back. She heard his cloak rustle as he wrapped it around Maribel's shoulders. You see, Maribel murmured. I am weak. She is not. Cedric sighed. That is why she must understand. You need me more. Serena's fingers tightened on the healer's report until the paper bent. Halo, her white-winged lion, stood beside her with perfect royal posture. He was the size of a young hunting lion, with a snowy mane, folded silver-white wings, and gold eyes too judgmental for a creature who was not officially on the council. He looked at the door. He looked at Serena. Then he lifted one elegant paw and pushed the healer's report back toward her chest, as if advising her not to waste valuable paper on fools. Serena did not cry. She had cried last winter, when Cedric left her alone at the moon feast because Maribel had collapsed near the musicians. She had cried in spring, when he gave Maribel the blue Luna shawl that Serena had spent 6 months embroidering. She had cried 3 weeks ago, when the healers told her the pain in her bones was not exhaustion. It was her own moon thread starving. Tonight, Serena only folded the report once. Then again. Then she put it in the inner pocket of her cloak. Inside the chamber, Cedric spoke again. After the ceremony, I will explain everything to Serena. She will be hurt, but she always comes around. Maribel's voice trembled. And if she does not? Cedric gave a tired laugh. She has nowhere else to go. Serena's face went calm. Halo's wings lifted a single inch. The lion did not roar. He was far too elegant for that. He merely placed one paw on the chamber door and pushed it shut with a soft, final click. The sound made Cedric stop speaking. Who is there? He called. Serena stepped back into the shadow of the corridor. For one breath, she considered walking in. She could place the healer's report on the table. She could show Cedric the stamped moon seal. She could tell him that his strong, dependable Serena had been standing on a crumbling edge while he chose another woman's delicate cough. But she had already heard enough. She turned away. Halo followed with his tail high. At the far end of the corridor, old torchlight shivered against the stone. Serena walked past the portraits of dead alphas, past the moonstone arch, past the velvet bench where Cedric once kissed her hand and promised she would never stand alone. She had stood alone for years. Now she would leave. No. She glanced down at Halo. Not alone. Chapter 2, 30 Days to Become Free. Serena did not disappear the next morning. That would have been dramatic. Drama was Maribel's profession. Serena preferred accounts, keys, ledgers, locked cabinets, and quiet arrangements that could not be dismissed as emotion. At dawn, she opened the Luna office and pulled out fresh parchment. At the top, she wrote, 30-day transfer schedule. Halo climbed onto the broad oak desk and sat beside the inkpot, his wings folded neatly. His expression said he had always expected to be included in senior administration. Serena dipped her pen. Day 30, Moon Pharmacy Inventory. Day 27, Winter Grain Routes. Day 24, Elder Care List. Day 21, Patrol Fund Reconciliation. Day 18, Servants Delayed Wages. Day 15, Private Asset Conversion. Day 12, Halo's Border Papers. Day 7, Marriage Settlement Draft. Day 3, Personal Belongings. Day 0, Departure. Her hand paused over the last word. Departure. Not escape. Not punishment. Not a plea for Cedric to notice. Departure. A woman who had carried a palace should be allowed to carry herself out of it. Halo lowered his head and sniffed the paper. Then he tapped Day 12 with one paw. You will get your papers, Serena said. Do not look at me like that. The lion continued to look at her exactly like that. Yes. Also travel biscuits. He looked away, satisfied. The door opened without a knock. Serena did not turn at once. She finished the line she was writing, sanded the ink, and placed the pen down. Cedric stood in the doorway in his black alpha coat. He was handsome in the practiced way of men, who had always been forgiven before they apologized. Dark blonde hair, broad shoulders, a confident jaw. The future of Grey Hallow Pack, carved in gold and expectation. Once, Serena had loved the sight of him. This morning, she noticed Maribel's pale blue ribbon tied around his wrist. "Serena," he said. "There you are. I looked for you after the council discussion." "No," Serena said. "You called into a hallway." A faint line appeared between his brows. "I thought I heard someone." "You did." He waited for her to explain. She did not. Cedric stepped inside and looked at the ledgers on her desk. "Already working? You should rest before tonight's moon ceremony." "I have been resting less for years." He smiled as if she had made a joke he was generous enough to tolerate. "You have always liked being busy." Halo slowly turned his head toward Cedric. The lion's golden eyes narrowed. Cedric noticed. "I see your little guardian is still glaring at me." "He has standards," Serena said. Cedric gave a short laugh. "For a cat?" Halo rose to his feet. His wings spread halfway, silent and bright. "He is a winged lion," Serena said. "And he heard you." Cedric looked from the lion to Serena. "Maribel had a hard night. She is worried about the ceremony." Serena folded her hands in her lap. "I am sure she is. She thinks you dislike her. I do not think of her often enough to dislike her." Cedric sighed. "There. That tone. You know how fragile she is." Serena looked at the ribbon on his wrist. "I know what she says she is." His jaw tightened. "She is not your enemy." "No. She is your choice." The silence settled sharply. Cedric looked startled, then irritated. "Do not start this before the ceremony." "I will not." His shoulders eased. He heard surrender. Serena meant strategy. "Good," he said. "I need you steady tonight. The elders respect you. If you stand calmly beside me, they will accept Maribel's new advisory seat." Serena felt nothing for 1 second. Then a small, clean pain opened behind her ribs. "Maribel is receiving an advisory seat?" Cedric's expression shifted. He had expected difficulty. He had not expected that plain question. "She has a gentle influence with the pack. She has no training. She will learn." "From whom?" He looked at the ledgers. Serena almost smiled. He did not say the answer because the answer was her. "From Serena. From the woman strong enough to bear disappointment." Cedric reached for her hand. Halo stepped on his sleeve. Not hard. Just enough to pin the fabric to the desk. Cedric looked down. "Move him. He is comfortable. He is standing on me. And learning quickly." Cedric pulled his sleeve free and drew a slow breath. "Serena, I do not have time to argue. Maribel needs kindness tonight. I need you to be gracious." Serena nodded once. "You will have exactly what you have earned from me." He seemed relieved. "Thank you." Halo made a soft sound that was not quite a sneeze and not quite an insult. When Cedric left, Serena opened a lower drawer. Inside were 3 velvet boxes. Cedric's gifts. A pearl comb he had forgotten giving her. A moonstone ring he had chosen because the jeweler said it was suitable for a Luna. A silver bracelet engraved with the wrong flower. Serena placed all 3 on the desk. Halo sniffed them. Then he pushed the bracelet toward the wastebasket. Serena caught it. "No. We sell things. We do not throw away silver." Halo looked disappointed, but he respected fiscal discipline. Chapter 3. The chair she refused the moon ceremony should have been Serena's first official step toward becoming Luna. The great hall glowed with lanterns. Silver banners hung from the rafters. The old families stood in formal rows, their eyes bright with curiosity. At the high dais, Cedric waited beneath the carved wolf crest. Maribel stood beside him. Not behind him. Beside him. She wore a pale blue gown, and the Luna shawl Serena had embroidered. The shawl fell across Maribel's shoulders like borrowed moonlight. Serena stopped at the foot of the aisle. For the first time all evening, the whispers died. Cedric saw her face. Something uncertain moved in his eyes. He knew. Not the truth, but enough. He knew this would hurt her. He still did it. Serena walked forward in a silver gown that had taken 3 seamstresses 11 weeks to finish. Halo moved at her side, wingtips brushing the polished stone. The elders watched him carefully. Everyone in Greyhallow knew better than to call him a cat twice. Maribel leaned closer to Cedric as Serena approached. She lifted one hand to her chest. Cedric immediately touched her elbow. Serena almost laughed. The choreography was perfect. A cough, a hand, a rescue. A whole romance built from weak lungs and excellent timing. The chief elder cleared his throat. Tonight, Alfuer Cedric will announce the structure of his future household and the advisory seat beside the Luna office. A murmur ran through the hall. Serena heard the phrase clearly. Beside the Luna office. Not under. Not after. Beside. Cedric stepped forward. His voice carried easily. Greyhallow is entering a new age. Strength alone is not enough. We also need tenderness. Maribel lowered her lashes. Halo sat down. Very slowly, like an elderly judge preparing for a poor argument. Cedric continued. Serena has served this pack with loyalty. No one doubts her discipline. Discipline. Not love. Not devotion. Not sacrifice. Discipline. But Maribel has shown us another kind of courage, Cedric said. A softer courage. A heart that feels deeply for those who suffer. Serena looked at the elders. Half of them avoided her gaze. They had accepted her winter plans, her pharmacy reforms, her patrol budgets, and her elder care lists. They had praised her steady hands every time disaster missed the pack by 1 inch. Now they looked at the floor because a pretty woman coughed beautifully in blue silk. Cedric turned toward Serena. I ask my future Luna to welcome Maribel as my personal companion and senior voice of compassion. Someone gasped. Maribel's mouth parted as if she had not expected this. Serena admired the performance. It was delicate, almost professional. Cedric held out his hand to Serena. Will you stand with us? The hall waited. This was the point at which Serena was expected to be strong. To swallow the public insult. To protect his dignity. To make his choice look graceful. Serena stepped onto the dais. Cedric's shoulders eased. Then Serena removed the silver Luna cloak from her own shoulders. A ripple moved through the hall. Cedric's hand dropped. Serena. She folded the cloak once. Twice. Then placed it over the back of the empty Luna chair. I will not bless a lie, she said. Her voice was not loud. It did not need to be. Maribel inhaled sharply. Cedric's face hardened. This is not the time. That is true, Serena said. The time was many nights ago. What are you doing? Returning a position you have already given away. The elders shifted uneasily. Cedric stepped closer. This is pride speaking. Serena looked at him. No. Pride would have made me fight for a chair. I am simply leaving it empty. Halo rose and climbed onto the dais. He walked to the Luna chair, sniffed the cloak, then turned his back on Cedric with unmistakable elegance. A few younger wolves pressed their lips together. One elder coughed. Not Maribel's fragile cough. A dangerous cough. The kind produced by a man trying not to laugh during a sacred ceremony. Cedric's eyes flashed. Take your lion and step down. Serena inclined her head. Gladly. Maribel touched Cedric's sleeve. Please do not be angry with her. She is hurt. Serena turned to her. For a moment, Maribel's soft expression faltered. Careful, Serena said. If you keep explaining my feelings, you may have to start living with them. The hall went silent. Halo opened his wings. Serena walked down the dais steps. Behind her, Cedric spoke through his teeth. If you leave now, do not expect me to chase you tonight. Serena stopped at the base of the aisle. Then she looked over her shoulder. Cedric, you did not chase me when I was standing beside you. That landed harder than a shout. For the first time that evening, he had no reply. Serena walked out beneath the silver banners with Halo at her side and 30 days of work still waiting. Chapter 4. The work he never saw. Cedric expected Serena to apologize by morning. She knew this because a note arrived with breakfast. Serena did not open it. Halo did. He hooked one claw beneath the seal, tore it with perfect care, read nothing, and pushed the note into his water bowl. Serena looked over her teacup. That may have contained important information. Halo placed one paw on the soggy paper and held her gaze. Fair point. The first week passed in silence. Serena completed the pharmacy inventory. She found 3 missing shipments of frostroot, 2 unpaid invoices, and 1 private order signed by Cedric for Maribel's restorative baths. The baths cost more than 3 months of medicine for the northern elders. Serena copied the order. She did not rage. She added it to a folder labeled Personal Misallocations. Halo slept on the folder that night. The next morning, old Mrs. Bell came to the pharmacy door with both hands tucked into her shawl. "Lady Serena, they told me the frost route would be delayed." Serena checked the shelves, then the copied order, then the woman whose joints had carried baskets for Grey Hallow kitchens for 40 years. "It will not be delayed for you. But Lady Maribel's bath order dash. Lady Maribel can bathe in warm water and patience." Halo looked up from the counter. Mrs. Bell made a sound that might have been a cough. Serena handed her the frost route and wrote a new supplier note. This was why she could not vanish overnight. Leaving a man was simple. Leaving a system that had hidden behind her hands took planning. The second week, Serena visited the grain office. Old Master Pell, who had managed storage since Cedric was a child, stared at her in horror. "You are transferring these duties now." "Yes. But the snow routes are yours. They belong to the pack. They exist because of you. Then they should be clear enough to survive me." Master Pell rubbed both hands over his face. "Is this because of the ceremony?" "This is because I am leaving." He lowered his hands. For 1 second, he looked genuinely older. "Leaving Grey Hallow?" "Yes." "Does the Alfair know?" "He knows I was unhappy." "That is not the same thing." "No," Serena said. "It is not." Master Pell looked at Halo, who sat beside the grain scale like a white statue with wings. "And the lion?" "Halo is leaving too." Master Pell nodded gravely. "Then we are in greater trouble than I feared." Halo accepted that as his due. In the third week, Serena sold the pearl comb, the moonstone ring, and the bracelet with the wrong flower. The jeweler tried to lower the price. Halo put one wing on the counter and stared at him. The price improved. Serena paid delayed wages for 3 kitchen maids, replaced old boots for the stable boys, and opened a private account under her mother's maiden name. She kept no sentimental gifts. Sentiment, she had learned, was expensive when no one else honored it. On the 24th day, her body failed her in the old pharmacy corridor. Pain slid through her bones like winter water. Her knees weakened. The shelves swam. She caught the counter with both hands and breathed until the world narrowed to the scent of herbs and dust. Halo pressed his warm side against her leg. "I know," she whispered. "I am still standing." Her reflection in the pharmacy glass looked too pale. The healer's report lay folded inside her pocket. 3 years. Maybe less, if she stayed inside the old bond that had been draining her for months. She had not told Cedric. She would not. Not because she was noble. Because the last version of herself who wanted to be held by him had died outside a half-open door. On the 29th day, she wrote 4 final letters. To the pharmacy, inventory routes, supplier names, and emergency substitutions. To the grain office, winter allocation, village priorities, and storage warnings. To the staff, wage records, references, and private thanks. To Cedric, marriage dissolution, property settlement, and a line of figures showing exactly what belonged to her. She did not write, "You hurt me." She did not write, "I loved you." She wrote, "No debt remains between us." Then she signed her name. Serena Vale. Not future Luna. Not Cedric's intended. Just Serena. Halo watched the ink dry. Then he went to the corner, picked up Cedric's old courtship portrait in his teeth, and dropped it face down in an empty trunk. Serena considered correcting him. She did not. Chapter 5. The empty room and the empty chair Cedric did not notice on the first day. Serena knew because no one came after her. By then she was already beyond the southern ridge, wrapped in a gray travel cloak, riding a hired mare through pale winter light. Halo flew low beside her for short distances, then returned to the saddlebag basket he considered beneath him but tolerable. Serena looked back only once. Grey Hallow's towers rose behind her, silver and cold. Somewhere inside them was the Luna chair with her cloak folded across it. Cedric would see it. Eventually. He did not see it that morning. He thought Serena was in the pharmacy. At noon, he thought she was in the grain office. By evening, when Maribel said Serena was making everyone uncomfortable with her silence, Cedric said, "Let her be. She will come around." The next morning, he sent a note. The note did not return. Neither did Serena. On the third day, Cedric strode to the Luna office. He expected to find her at the desk, pale with stubborn pride, waiting for him to notice how efficient she had been. The room was clean. Too clean. The ink bottles were capped. The shelves were labeled. The keys hung in rows with tags tied in Serena's small, precise handwriting. Her cloak was gone. Her boots were gone. Halo's cushion was gone. Cedric opened the wardrobe. Empty. He opened the jewelry case. Empty. He opened the lower drawer where she kept private letters. Inside lay one packet. Marriage dissolution. Property settlement. Transfer schedule. No debt remains between us. Cedric stared at the sentence. For several breaths, his mind refused to read it properly. No debt meant no claim. No debt meant no unfinished argument. No debt meant she had not left a hook for him to pull. He went to the council chamber next. The elders were already gathered, arguing over winter grain numbers. Cedric took his seat and turned automatically to his right. Serena, explained the northern stores. The chair was empty. Her silver cloak lay across the back. No pen. No notes. No patient woman ready to save him from looking unprepared. The room fell quiet. Cedric looked at the cloak. The silence pressed against his ears. Master Pell cleared his throat. My lord, Lady Serena left transfer documents. Then use them. We tried. And? An elder pushed a page forward. Her handwriting is small. Cedric looked at him. Her handwriting has always been small. Yes, the elder admitted. But previously she was attached to it. Someone at the far end coughed into his sleeve. Cedric did not laugh. His wolf stirred inside him, uneasy. A chair should not feel like a wound. An empty room should not feel like abandonment when he had been the one to make her leave. But the chair stayed empty. And for the first time, Cedric understood that Serena had not punished him. She had withdrawn. There was a difference. Punishment begged to be noticed. Withdrawal took the door with it. He stood so quickly his chair scraped the stone. Find her. The elders stared. My lord. Find Serena. No one moved at once. Maribel, seated near the side wall, lifted one hand to her chest. Cedric, I feel faint. He turned to her. His body moved from habit, then stopped. Maribel's eyes widened. So did his. The room saw it. For the first time in years, Cedric did not cross the room when she swayed. His wolf, restless and confused, pressed against his ribs. Somewhere far beyond the ridge, Serena was no longer where he had left her. Chapter 6. The man in the snow. The road into the Dragon's Pine Mountains was not kind. The stones were slick with old ice. The pines stood black against the sky. Wind moved through the passes with a sound like distant voices. Serena should have been afraid. Instead, she felt something dangerously close to relief. No one asked her to be gracious. No one asked her to be strong. No one coughed on cue. By sunset, her hands began to shake. The moon-wasting condition always worsened near dark. It made her cold from the inside first. Then came the ache behind the ribs, the hollow pull in her chest, as if some invisible thread were drawing warmth from her body. She dismounted near a frozen stream and tried to gather kindling. Her fingers would not close. Halo nudged her knee. I see your concern, she said. I am ignoring it with dignity. Halo spread one wing and slapped the kindling into a pile. That was not dignity. The lion sat down pleased. Serena tried to laugh, but the sound caught in her throat. Her vision blurred. She reached for the saddle. The world tilted. A man's voice came from the trees. You should not be alone in this pass. Serena turned too quickly. A tall man stood at the edge of the clearing. He wore a dark cloak clasped at the throat, the fabric dusted with snow. Black hair framed a severe face. His eyes were blue, not soft blue, but deep and luminous like winter fire trapped under ice. He was impossibly tall, broad-shouldered, still, too still. For a moment, Serena's weakened mind offered a ridiculous conclusion. Statue. Then he moved. Halo stepped between them. The man stopped at once. His gaze dropped to the winged lion. Your guardian has excellent judgment. Halo did not disagree. Serena gripped the saddle. I am not carrying anything worth robbing. That is rarely true, the man said. His voice was quiet. It should have frightened her. Instead, she noticed the faint pallor beneath his skin and the way one gloved hand pressed briefly to his chest. He looked ill, or cold, or both. Serena's healer instincts, Worn thin but not dead, overrode caution. You are underdressed for this pass. One dark eyebrow lifted. I am. Yes. He looked down at himself as if learning this. Snow gathered on his shoulders. Serena sighed, unfastened the extra travel scarf from her saddle, and held it out. Take this. The man stared at the scarf. Then at her. Then back at the scarf. You're giving me warmth? You seem to need it. Something moved across his face. Not a smile exactly. Something more startled. He accepted the scarf with great care, as if it were a treaty document. I do, he said. Very much. Halo gave the man a long, measuring look. Then the lion sneezed once. Serena chose to interpret that as permission. What is your name? She asked. Kale. Kale what? He hesitated. Draven. Serena's fingers tightened around the reins. Every child in the border villages knew that name. Dragon King Kale Draven. The ruler of the Dragon Court. The Mountain Terror, according to Greyhallow gossip. The man Cedric's council feared so much that they checked maps before speaking his name. Serena looked at the scarf in his hands, then at his solemn face, then at the snow melting around his boots, despite the cold. Oh, perhaps not underdressed. Kale Draven watched her with careful attention. If you wish to take the scarf back, he said, I will understand. Serena was tired enough to be honest. No, that would be rude. His mouth curved. Only slightly. I would not wish to encourage rudeness. Halo walked forward, sniffed Kale's boot, and sat beside him. Serena stared. Halo. The lion ignored her. Kale looked down at him with a gravity usually reserved for ambassadors. A fair inspection. Halo blinked. Kale looked at Serena again. You are unwell. I am traveling. That is not the same thing. No, Serena said. It is not. Wind moved through the clearing. Her strength wavered. Kale took one step closer, then stopped when Halo's wings shifted. My fortress is near, he said. It has fires, food, physicians who are less annoying than most physicians. That is a very specific recommendation. I am told honesty is calming. Who told you that? No one calm. Against every reasonable instinct, Serena smiled. Kale looked at her smile as if it had interrupted his breathing. Then he reached beneath his cloak. Halo rose. Kale paused. I mean no harm. That is what people say before harm. Then I will say something else. He drew out a necklace. It was simple at first glance. A dark silver chain holding a small scale-shaped pendant. The scale shimmered between black and deep blue, edged with faint gold. It seemed warm, even in the snow. Kale held it toward her. For the cold. Serena stared. I cannot accept jewelry from a stranger. I am not a stranger. I gave you my name. That is not how trust works. I see. He looked genuinely troubled. Then he lowered his voice. Then accept it because your hands are shaking, and that concerns me. Serena should have refused again. But the pendant gave off a soft heat that reached her even from his palm. Her bones ached. Her breath trembled. And there was something absurdly careful about him. A dragon king who looked as if one wrong word from her might wound him. What is it? She asked. A scale. That is not enough explanation. A protective scale. From what? His fingers tightened almost imperceptibly around the chain. From me. Serena frowned. Kale blinked once. Not from me harming you. From my protection. For you. Not against you. Halo looked at him. Then, with decisive elegance, the winged lion picked up the pendant chain in his teeth and placed it in Serena's hand. Halo, she said. That was not your decision. Halo's face said it clearly was. Kale's expression softened toward the lion. A wise creature. Halo accepted the praise as overdue. Serena exhaled. One night, she said. I will rest at your fortress for one night. Then I continue south. Kale nodded. Of course. She lifted the necklace. I will return this before I leave. A shadow crossed his face so quickly she almost missed it. Please do not lose it, he said. There was something in his voice. Not command. Not flirtation. A strange, naked sincerity. I would be very sad. Serena looked at the terrifying Dragon King, standing in the snow with her travel scarf in his hands, asking her not to misplace a necklace because it would hurt his feelings. Her heart, which should have been wiser by now, softened. I will be careful. Kale looked relieved. He stepped behind her to fasten the chain. His hands were large, but his touch was light. The pendant settled against her chest. Warmth spread beneath her skin. Serena's breath caught. Cale's knuckles brushed the back of her neck as he closed the clasp. For one suspended moment, the clearing went quiet. She felt the heat of him behind her. The scent of smoke, snow, and something like cedar. His voice came lower than before. "Does it hurt?" "No," she said. It was the first time in weeks that something did not hurt. Halo waited exactly 3 respectful seconds. Then he stepped on Cale's boot. Cale looked down. The winged lion stared back. "Understood," Cale murmured. Serena did not ask what was understood. She was afraid Halo might somehow answer. Chapter 7, Shy Dragons and Terrible Tea Dragonfort was not near. It was above. The fortress rose from the mountain like it had grown out of black stone and fire. Blue flames burned in high braziers. Glass bridges connected towers. Warm light poured from arched windows, turning the snow gold. Serena stared despite herself. Cale noticed. "Too much. It is a fortress carved into a mountain," she said. "It seems committed to being much." His mouth moved again. Almost a smile. At the great gate, 6 dragon guards in black armor stepped forward. Then they saw the pendant at Serena's throat. All 6 dropped to one knee. Serena froze. Halo froze too, but with satisfaction. Cale made a small sound behind her. It might have been a sigh. "Why are they kneeling?" Serena whispered. "They are shy," Cale said. The nearest guard's face went completely blank. Serena looked at the guard. He lowered his eyes very quickly. "Dragon people are shy?" "Some." "Which ones?" Cale looked at the kneeling line. "These." The guards remained impressively silent. Halo walked past them with the confidence of visiting royalty. Serena followed slowly. Inside, the fortress was warmer than any place she had ever known. The floors held heat. Firelight shimmered over dark walls. Tapestries showed dragons coiled around stars. Servants appeared, bowed, and vanished without making noise. Every single one stared at her pendant. Every single one then stared at Cale. Every single one looked away very quickly. Serena touched the scale pendant. Cale's gaze followed her fingers. "Is something wrong with it?" she asked. "No. Everyone keeps looking. It is attractive." "That is not why they are looking." His silence became suspicious. Halo made a dry little huff. A woman in dark healer's robes hurried down the stairs. She was perhaps 50, with silver hair braided tight and spectacles perched low on her nose. She saw Serena. She saw the pendant. She stopped so hard her shoes nearly slid. Cale turned to her. "Master Healer Yara. Our guest is unwell." Yara's eyes remained on the pendant. "Our guest," she repeated. "Yes." With that around her neck. Cale's expression became very calm. Yara looked at him. He looked back. Some silent conversation passed between them. Serena understood none of it. She disliked that. Halo walked to Yara, sniffed the hem of her robe, then sat down. Yara looked at the winged lion. "Well," she said, "at least someone here appears sensible." Halo preened. Cale led Serena to a suite larger than her entire office in Grey Hallow. There was a bed carved from dark wood, a fireplace bright with blue flame, and tall windows facing the snow peaks. A tray of food arrived before Serena removed her cloak. Soup, bread, roasted roots, tea, and a dish of sliced pears placed on the floor for Halo. Halo examined it, then looked at Cale, then ate with restrained approval. Serena sat near the fire. Her body should have ached from travel. Instead, the pendant warmed her chest in slow pulses. Her hands had stopped shaking. Yara took Serena's wrist and checked her pulse. Her brows drew together. "Have you been diagnosed?" Serena hesitated. Then she took the folded healer's report from her pocket. Yara read it. Her face changed, but not with pity. With anger. "Who treated you?" "Grey Hallow healers." "Did they test your bond exposure?" Serena frowned. "My what?" Yara looked at Cale. He stood near the window, unnaturally still. Yara folded the report. "We will examine that later. For tonight, you need rest." Serena heard what she did not say. "Later, because it is worse than the report suggests." She looked down at the pendant. "Is it helping?" Yara paused. Cale turned his face toward the fire. "Yes," Yara said. "It is helping." "Then I should thank you," Serena said to Cale. His eyes returned to her. The blue in them seemed brighter in firelight. You do not have to thank me for wanting you alive. The room went silent. Yara studied the ceiling. Halo stopped eating pear. Serena's mouth went dry. That is a serious sentence for a temporary guest, she said. Kale's gaze did not move. I am told I speak too seriously. By whom? People who survive advising me. Yara coughed into her hand. It sounded suspiciously unlike illness. Serena should not have smiled. She did. Kale watched the smile appear. Then he looked away, as if it had become too much to hold directly. Serena felt warmth rise along her neck. The pendant pulsed once, soft and steady. That night, Serena woke with no pain. For several seconds, she simply lay still and waited for it. The ache. The cold. The hollow pull inside her ribs. It did not come. The pendant rested warm against her skin. Blue fire crackled in the hearth. Halo slept across the threshold, wings folded, one eye half open in case the furniture misbehaved. A quiet knock came at the door. Halo opened both eyes. Kale stood outside. He did not enter. Are you awake? He asked. I am now. His shoulders lowered a fraction. I felt he stopped. Serena looked at him. You felt what? The fortress grew colder. It did. No. She blinked. Kale looked briefly annoyed with himself. I mean, yes. A little. That was a terrible explanation. I know. Halo's tail moved once. Serena should have sent him away. Instead, she said, you may come in. Kale entered as if stepping into a sacred place. He held a small cup of tea. I brought this. At this hour? I was told warm drinks are comforting. By calm people? No. She accepted the cup. His fingers brushed hers. A spark of heat moved through the pendant. Serena drew a quiet breath. Kale noticed. His gaze dropped to her hand, then to her throat. Did it hurt you? No. It is warm. Good. He looked so relieved that she almost laughed. You are very worried for a mountain king. I am not a mountain king. What kind of king are you? A careful one. Halo made a soft, skeptical sound. Kale looked at him. A recently careful one. That satisfied the lion enough to close one eye again. Serena sipped the tea. It was too strong and slightly bitter. Kale watched her face. Bad. Memorable. I made it. That explains several things. His eyes widened slightly. For one horrible second, Serena thought she had offended him. Then his mouth curved. Would you like me to apologize? No. I would like you to never make tea professionally. The sound he made was low and warm. Almost a laugh. It settled in the room differently than Cedric's laughter ever had. Cedric laughed to dismiss. Kale laughed as if surprised she had allowed him to. Chapter 8. The scale from his heart back in Grey Hallow. The letters found her. The first arrived by dragon courier, which meant Kale had allowed it through the border after reading only the sender's name. Serena, you have made your point. Return before the next council session. The elders are unsettled. Your office has several matters only you understand. Cedric. Serena read it twice, then passed it to Halo. The winged lion carried it to the fireplace, dropped it just outside the flames, and looked at her. You are not subtle, Serena said. Halo nudged the paper closer to the fire. She let it burn. The second letter arrived the next morning. Serena, this is childish. Maribel is distressed by your silence. I have told her not to blame herself. Do not make me come retrieve you. Cedric. Halo did not wait for permission. He took the letter in his teeth, walked to the window, and dropped it into the snow. Kale, standing beside the breakfast tray, watched the paper fall. Should I have the courier retrieve it? No. Good. Serena looked at him. That sounded personal. Kale arranged his face into innocence. I disliked. From the courtyard below came a faint roar. Serena leaned toward the window. The letter had landed in front of 3 dragon guards. All 3 stared at it as if it had insulted their mothers. One guard cautiously picked it up with tongs. Another brought a small metal box. The third bowed to Halo through the window. Halo lifted his chin. Serena turned to Kale. Your guards are very dramatic. They are shy. Stop saying that. As you wish. He looked far too pleased. By the 7th day, the letters changed. Serena, where are the Northern Pharmacy keys? Cedric. Then, Serena, Master Pell says the grain schedule is incomplete. Cedric. It was not incomplete. It merely required reading the notes. Then, Serena, the elder care list has symbols I do not understand. Cedric. They were not symbols. They were initials. Then finally, Serena, where are you? No title. No irritation. Just the first crack in his certainty. Serena folded that letter and placed it in a drawer. She did not burn it. Not because it moved her. Because evidence should be kept in order. Yara visited daily. She confirmed what the Grey Hallow report had not. The condition is advanced, the healer said on the 9th morning. But not natural. Serena sat beside the fire, Halo's head resting on her knee. Not natural. No. Moon wasting can happen when a lunabond is strained, but yours shows repeated external draining. Serena looked at the pendant. It was being taken? Yes. By Cedric? Yara's mouth tightened. Not directly, but your bond to him left you open. Someone near his household used a substance that imitated weakness while drawing strength from the true Luna candidate. Serena understood before Yara named it. Maribel. The room seemed to tilt. Halo rose, his mane lifting. Serena placed a hand on his back. Say it plainly. Pale moon powder, Yara said. It can make a healthy woman seem fragile. Pale skin, fainting, uneven pulse, tears at will. More importantly, when used near a moonbound candidate, it draws vitality from that person. Serena heard Maribel's soft cough. Cedric's cloak. The blue Luna shawl. The pharmacy orders. The stolen medicine. She closed her eyes. So she was not only pretending to be ill. No, Yara said. She was borrowing your life to do it. A log shifted in the fire. Blue sparks rose. Kale stood near the door, because he never entered Yara's examinations unless Serena allowed it. His face had gone very still. Serena opened her eyes. He looked calm. Too calm. The dragon guards visible beyond the door did not look calm at all. One had stepped back. Another stared fixedly at the wall. Serena looked at Kale. Are you angry? He considered the question. Yes. You look calm. I am working very hard. Halo made a low sound. Kale looked at him. I agree. Serena did not ask what they agreed on. Yara folded her hands. There is good news. Serena almost laughed. That feels ambitious. The scale is stabilizing you. Kale's gaze moved sharply to Yara. The healer ignored him. Your attacks are reduced. Your warmth is returning. Your pulse is stronger when the pendant rests against the heart. Serena touched the scale. What exactly is this? Kale looked at the window. Yara looked at Kale. Halo looked at both of them and seemed unimpressed with their cowardice. Kale spoke first. A protective scale. Serena stared. That answer has expired. Yara muttered, several days ago. Kale gave her a look. She raised both brows. Serena waited. Kale turned back to her. It is a heart scale. Yara exhaled, as if a heavy door had finally opened. Serena looked down. The small black-blue pendant warmed under her fingers. A dragon heart scale? Yes. From your heart. Near it. How near? Kale did not answer. Yara answered for him. As near as something can be without being the heart itself. Serena's hand froze. Kale looked almost pained. You looked cold. Yara closed her eyes. Serena stared at him. You gave me something from beside your heart, because I looked cold. He seemed to realize the answer did not sound normal. At the time, it felt reasonable. Halo placed one paw over his face. Serena's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. You met me in the snow. Yes. I was a stranger. No. We had never met. That is not always the same thing. Her face heated. The pendant warmed. Kale noticed and looked briefly overwhelmed. Serena looked at Yara. Is he always like this? Yara's expression remained professional with visible effort. No one has ever been able to find out before. Kale frowned. That is not helpful. It is accurate. Serena leaned back in the chair. The story should have frightened her. It did frighten her, but not in the way it should have. Cedric had spent years giving away pieces of her until almost nothing remained. Kale had known her for one night and given her something he could not easily replace. Not to own her, not to claim her, to keep her alive. That knowledge sat beneath her ribs, warm and terrible. Serena drew a breath. Can it hurt you? Kale paused. If it is lost. You said you would be sad. I was simplifying. How much? Yara answered before he could. He would feel it in his chest, lose balance in dragon form, and become difficult for everyone within a mountain range. Kale looked offended. Difficult? Yara glanced at him. Deeply difficult. Serena closed her fingers around the pendant. I will not lose it. Something in Kale's face changed. Not triumph. Not possession. Relief. Plain, vulnerable relief. Thank you, he said. Halo rose, walked to Kale, and placed one paw on his boot. Kale looked down. The winged lion stared up at him. I know, Kale said quietly. She decides. Halo removed his paw. Serena watched them. What did he decide? Kale's expression became innocent again. That I should stand farther from your chair. Halo returned to Serena with dignity. Yara did not hide her smile quickly enough. Chapter 9. The Alpha comes to retrieve what is no longer his. Cedric came to Dragonfort on the 11th day. Serena saw him from the upper gallery. He rode through the outer gate with 6 Greyhallow guards, his black cloak snapping in the wind. He looked tired. Not heartbroken yet. Not humbled. Tired and angry. A man inconvenienced by the absence of furniture he had assumed would remain in place. Kale stood beside Serena at the gallery rail. Not touching her. Close enough that the heat from his body reached her sleeve. Halo sat between them, tail curled around his paws, as if ready to take minutes. You do not have to see him, Kale said. I know. If you wish to leave by another door, Dragonfort has many. That sounds like something a fortress would brag about. It is proud. She looked up at him. His face was solemn. His eyes were not. A smile tugged at her mouth despite the tightness in her chest. I will see him. Kale nodded. Then he looked down into the courtyard. Cedric had dismounted. His gaze lifted and found Serena at once. For one moment, the courtyard disappeared. She remembered his hand at her waist during their first moon dance. His promise beneath summer lanterns. The easy certainty with which he once said, You will always be beside me. Then she remembered the council chamber. She is strong. She can bear disappointment. The memory did not break her. It steadied her. Serena descended the stairs. Kale followed 2 steps behind. At the courtyard level, Cedric strode toward her. Serena. She stopped before he could reach her. Halo moved to her right. Kale remained behind her left shoulder, silent and watchful. Cedric's eyes flicked to him, then to the pendant. His mouth tightened. You are wearing his jewelry. Serena folded her hands. Good afternoon to you too. Cedric's jaw worked. I have been searching for you. You sent letters. You ignored them. I read some of them. Some. Halo handled the rest. Cedric looked at the winged lion. Halo gazed back with serene contempt. Cedric inhaled. Enough. Come home. The courtyard went very still. Serena heard the dragon guards shift. Kale said nothing. She appreciated that. Greyhallow is not my home anymore, she said. Cedric's expression hardened. You are upset. Yes. You are embarrassing both of us. No. I left you to do that privately. One of the dragon guards made a small choking sound. Kale did not move, but Serena felt the air behind her warm. Cedric took a step closer. Do not speak to me like this in front of strangers. Kale's quiet voice came from behind Serena. I am not sure I qualify as a stranger. She has my scale. The courtyard became silent in a completely new way. Cedric looked at the pendant again. His face changed. He did not know exactly what it was, but he knew enough to dislike it. What did he give you? Serena touched the scale. Protection. Cedric gave a humorless laugh. You accepted protection from him? Yes. You never accepted anything from me without argument. She looked at him for a long moment. You never offered me anything that was meant to protect me. The words struck him. He looked as if he wanted to reject them, then could not find an example. Kale shifted behind her. Cedric's attention snapped to him. And you, Cedric said. Do you make a habit of collecting women who leave their packs? Serena turned slightly, because Kale's silence changed. His face was still calm. Too calm again. But his eyes had deepened to a blue that made the air feel thin. Before he could speak, Serena stepped in front of him. Do not raise your voice at him. Cedric stared. At him? He is not used to your temper. Behind her, someone dropped a spear. Cedric's face went blank. Kale's voice came carefully. I am sensitive. The spear rolled across the courtyard. No one picked it up. Serena turned her head. Cale stood with lowered eyes and an expression of such solemn vulnerability that she almost believed him. Almost. Halo looked directly at Cale, then slowly, deliberately, looked at the cracked stone under Cedric's boots. Serena noticed the crack. It had not been there a moment ago. She narrowed her eyes. Cale looked at the mountains. Cedric pointed at him. Serena, that is the Dragon King. Yes. The Dragon King. I heard you. You are defending him from me? He looked uncomfortable. A dragon guard behind them whispered, blessed fire. Another guard whispered back, do not laugh. Cedric's face turned red. This is absurd. Many things are, Serena said. Your recent council records, for example. His anger faltered. What? I transferred my duties. The notes are clear. They are not clear. They are written for someone who reads them. Cale made a quiet sound behind her. Serena did not look back. Cedric's voice dropped. Greyhallow needs you. No. Greyhallow needed the work I did while you called it discipline. He flinched. Good. That word should hurt him. Cedric looked at her for a long moment. Then something like worry entered his face. You look different. I have slept. You are pale. I have been pale for months. I thought you were tired. I was. Why did you not tell me it was worse? Serena's hand moved to the pendant. She did not mean for it to. Cedric saw. His mouth tightened again. Has he been filling your head against me? A low sound moved through the courtyard. It came from Halo. The winged lion stood, mane lifting, wings spreading. Serena touched his back. No, she said. Cedric did that himself. Cedric took another step. Cale's hand appeared near Serena's elbow. He did not touch her. He waited. She saw the restraint. She saw the question. May I? Serena stepped back half an inch. Cale's hand settled lightly at her elbow. Warmth ran up her arm. Cedric saw the touch. His wolf rose in his eyes. For the first time, Serena did not feel pulled toward that wolf. She felt tired for it. Remove your hand, Cedric said. Cale looked at Serena. Not Cedric. Serena answered. No. Cedric's expression broke open. Not with grief. With disbelief. That was worse. He had not imagined she could deny him. Not like this. Not calmly. Not while another man stood at her side. I came to bring you home, he said. You came to bring back the person who made your life easier. That is not true. Then tell me why you came before asking how I was. He opened his mouth. No answer came. Halo folded his wings, satisfied. Serena took one step forward. Return to Greyhallow. Read the transfer documents. Pay the servants on time. Stop ordering medicine for Maribel's baths while the northern elders ration frostroot. Cedric stared. How do you know about that? I did the accounts. You kept copies? I kept records. Cale's voice was gentle behind her. There is a difference. Cedric looked at him with open dislike. Serena did not need to see Cale's face to know he had become innocent again. I will not be dismissed, Cedric said. You are not being dismissed, Serena replied. You are being returned. To what? To the life you chose. That silenced him. For a moment, she saw the boy he had been. The one who laughed with her in the orchard. The one who once saved the first peach of summer for her because she had missed breakfast. Then the man before her looked back at the pendant, and his mouth hardened. You think he is different? Serena did not answer quickly. That mattered. Cale's hand moved away from her elbow. He gave her space before she asked for it. That was the answer. Yes, she said. Cedric left Dragonfort before sunset. He did not apologize. He did not ask again about her health. But as he rode through the gate, Serena saw him look back once. Not at her face. At the pendant. Halo sneezed. Serena looked down. You are right, she said. He is learning too slowly. Chapter 10. The shawl and the witness. The investigation began because Halo refused breakfast. That alone disturbed the fortress. Halo had never refused food. He had rejected food with theatrical disdain, but that was different. Refusal meant principle. Rejection meant quality concerns. On the 12th morning, he sniffed a bowl of cream, lifted his head, and walked to Serena's travel trunk. He pawed at it until she opened the lid. Inside were the things she had carried from Greyhallow. 2 dresses, 3 ledgers, Cedric's final unread note, and the blue Luna shawl she had taken back after the ceremony. Halo seized the shawl in his teeth. Serena frowned. What are you doing? He dragged it across the floor to Yara, who had entered with medical papers. Yara adjusted her spectacles. The shawl lay at her feet, pale blue and silver-threaded. Serena's stomach tightened. That belonged to me, she said. Cedric gave it to Maribel. May I? Yara asked. Serena nodded. Yara knelt, lifted one corner, and smelled the fabric. Her face sharpened. Pale moon powder. The room lost warmth. Serena stared. On the shawl? Yes. Halo sat beside it, looking like a judge whose patience had expired. Serena remembered Maribel wearing it at the ceremony. Maribel's shoulders wrapped in Serena's work. Cedric's hand resting over the stolen embroidery. The hall applauding tenderness. It was touching her skin, Serena said. And yours before that, Yara replied. The powder clings to moon thread. If you embroidered this, it may have absorbed your energy long before she wore it. Serena touched the pendant at her throat. The scale warmed under her fingers. Cale stood in the doorway. He had arrived silently enough that she suspected the fortress itself had warned him. His gaze moved to the shawl. Then to Serena. Do you want it destroyed? He asked. The question was too immediate. Too satisfying. Serena almost said yes. Then she stopped. No. Cale accepted the answer without question. Then what do you want? I want it tested. I want records. I want proof that does not depend on my feelings. Yara nodded. Good. Cale looked at Halo. The winged lion looked back. Something passed between them. Serena pointed at both of them. No secret decisions involving fire. Cale's expression became perfectly mild. Halo looked away. That was not reassuring. The shawl became the first piece of evidence. The second arrived from Grey Hallow 2 days later, carried not by Cedric, but by a young woman in a brown servant's cloak. Serena recognized her at once. Iris? The maid stood at the edge of the Dragon Fort receiving hall, trembling but determined. She was 20, perhaps, with ink on one sleeve and a satchel clutched to her chest. Halo flew down from the stair rail and landed in front of her. Iris bowed to him before she bowed to anyone else. Wise girl. My lady, Iris said. Serena went to her. You should not have come alone. I did not know who else to trust. Cale remained several steps back. Dragon guards lined the walls. Iris looked at them and went pale. Serena touched her arm. They are shy. Behind her, Cale made a small sound. Iris blinked. Shy? Yes. One dragon guard stared at the floor as if praying for rescue. Iris seemed too frightened to question it. She opened the satchel and pulled out 3 small packets wrapped in wax paper. I found these in Lady Maribel's dressing room, under the false bottom of her powder box. Yara took one packet and opened it. The pale dust inside shimmered faintly. Pale moon powder, she said. Iris swallowed. There is more. I copied delivery records. The payments came from the Alfier's household account, but the requests were signed by Lady Maribel. Serena felt a coldness that the pendant did not fully stop. Cedric paid for it. I do not know if he knew what it was, Iris said quickly. But he approved the household costs. Of course he did, Serena said. He was always generous with anything that made her look fragile. Iris looked down. I am sorry. You did not do this. I watched it happen. Serena's voice softened. You are here now. Iris's eyes filled, but she blinked hard. I was afraid. Everyone said you were jealous of her. Halo stepped forward, took one of the empty wax papers in his mouth, and placed it on Iris's shoe. She looked startled. Serena translated. He forgives paperwork when it arrives eventually. Iris gave a watery laugh. It was small but real. Cale's guards looked relieved. Apparently laughter from frightened guests was preferable to whatever their king might do if Serena became sad. Yara sorted the packets. This is enough for formal accusation. Serena stared at the pale powder. Formal accusation. Public hearing. Return to Grey Hallow. She had left the chair. She did not want to go back to it. Cale's voice came from behind her. You do not have to return for them. Serena looked at the packets. Then at Iris. Then at Halo. I am not returning for them. She picked up the blue shawl. I am returning because if she used this on me, she can use it on the next woman who sits in that chair. Cale's face changed. Respect, maybe. Or something warmer. Serena looked at him. And because I want my embroidery back. Halo approved that completely. Chapter 11. The scarf on the terrace. The night before they returned to Grey Hallow, Serena found Kale on the upper terrace. Blue fire burned in low stone bowls. Snow drifted beyond the rail. The mountains looked close enough to touch. Kale stood without a cloak. Of course he did. The Dragon King could probably sleep inside a snowstorm and call it mild weather. Still, Serena saw the scarf folded over one arm. Her scarf. The travel scarf she had given him in the pass. He held it as if it were more important than the fortress behind him. "You kept that," she said. Kale turned. For 1 second, his solemn expression slipped. He looked caught. "You gave it to me. I also gave Halo a biscuit this morning." He did not build a shrine. From the terrace door, Halo gave an offended sound. Serena did not turn. Kale looked at the scarf. "I did not build a shrine. Did you assign a guard to it?" Silence. Serena stared at him. "Kale. Only temporarily." She pressed her lips together. The laugh came anyway. His eyes softened at once. That, more than any confession, unsettled her. He did not look pleased because he had been funny. He looked relieved because she was laughing. Serena walked closer and took the scarf from his arm. "You are impossible. I have been called worse." "By Yara?" "Most recently." The wind rose. Snow brushed his black hair. Serena stepped nearer and lifted the scarf. "Hold still." Kale obeyed immediately. Too immediately. She looped the scarf around his neck. The act should have been simple. It was not. He was too tall, so she had to rise on her toes. Her fingers brushed the side of his throat. The pulse there jumped once beneath her touch. Kale went absolutely still. Serena looked up. "Too tight." His voice dropped. "No." She adjusted the knot. Her knuckles grazed his throat again. This time, his hand closed lightly around her wrist. Not to stop her. To hold on. "Dangerous," he said. Serena frowned. "The scarf?" "No." "Then what?" His gaze lowered to her mouth. Only for a heartbeat. Then it returned to her eyes with visible effort. "Your hands." The terrace seemed to lose sound. Serena forgot the cold. She forgot Halo by the door. She forgot Grey Hallow waiting beyond the mountains. Kale's thumb rested against the inside of her wrist. His touch was careful, but the restraint behind it was not soft. It was heat held behind iron. Serena's breath changed. Kale felt it under his fingers. His eyes darkened. "Should I let go?" he asked. That was the problem with him. He always asked. And because he asked, she wanted to answer honestly. "Not yet." The words came out quieter than she intended. Kale's hand tightened once. Not enough to trap. Enough to admit that he heard. Halo made a soft sound from the doorway. Not an interruption. A reminder that dignity still existed somewhere. Serena looked down and saw Kale's dragon tail had appeared behind him, curling along the terrace stone like a guilty secret. "Is that because of the scarf?" she asked. Kale closed his eyes for 1 second. "I am afraid it is because of you." Serena laughed, but the sound shook. Kale opened his eyes again. "Do not laugh if you are not safe," he said. "I am safe." "Good. You look worried." "I am worried." "About tomorrow?" "About many things." "Name one." His gaze fell to the heart scale at her throat. "That you will stand in the room where they hurt you, and I will want to answer for it before you have finished speaking for yourself." Serena's chest warmed. Not from the pendant. From being understood. "Then do not answer for me." "I will not." "Stand with me." His expression changed. It was not the false wounded look he used to make her protect him. It was real. "Always," he said. Halo huffed. Kale looked at him. Respectfully. Halo accepted the amendment. Serena finished tying the scarf. Her fingers lingered 1 heartbeat longer than necessary. Kale did not move. He looked like a man enduring a blessing. Then she stepped back. His hand released her wrist slowly. "You should sleep," he said. "You first." "I do not sleep much." "Then practice." He looked toward Halo. "Is that an order?" Halo gave the smallest possible nod. Kale bowed his head. "Then I will make an attempt." Serena left the terrace smiling. Behind her, 1 dragon guard whispered to another, "Did His Majesty just get sent to bed by a lion?" The second guard whispered, and obeyed. Chapter 12. Back to the chair. Grey Hallow looked smaller when Serena returned. Not physically. The towers still rose high. The silver banners still snapped in winter wind. The wolf crest still watched from the gate. But fear had changed shape inside her. The place had once been the whole boundary of her life. Now it was a badly managed estate with poor accounting and a chair problem. Cale rode beside her, dressed in black and dark bronze, her scarf tied at his throat beneath his royal clasp. He had offered to travel behind her. Serena had said he could ride beside her if he stopped looking like he was attending a funeral. He had asked what expression would be better. Halo had sneezed. No one had improved. Iris rode in the carriage behind them with Yara and the evidence box. The young maid sat straight-backed, gripping her copied records as if they were a sword. At the Grey Hallow gate, 2 wolf guards blocked the road. Then they saw Cale. Then they saw Serena. Then they saw Halo. One guard whispered, "Is that a lion?" The other whispered, "With wings." Halo opened his wings. Both guards stepped aside. Serena looked at Cale. "Your reputation is useful." "I believe that was Halo." Halo did not deny it. Inside the courtyard, Grey Hallow was in visible disorder. A cart of grain stood uncovered near the stable. 2 kitchen boys argued over a supply list. A nervous elder crossed the yard carrying 3 ledgers upside down. Serena watched him pass. "That is Master Orlin," she said. "He once told me women overcomplicate accounts." The elder dropped 1 ledger. Cale looked at him. "He appears to have simplified them." Serena laughed before she could stop herself. The elder looked horrified to be the cause of amusement. Halo seemed pleased. Cedric came out of the main doors before the carriage stopped. He looked worse than before. Not ruined. Not enough. But tired in a deeper way. His hair was unbound. His coat was buttoned wrong at the throat. There were shadows beneath his eyes. His gaze found Serena first. Then Cale. Then the pendant. Always the pendant. "You came back," he said. "For a hearing." Something in his face fell. "Not much." "Enough." "A hearing." "Yes." "Against Maribel?" "Against the use of pale moon powder in a Luna household." His eyes flickered. He had heard the term by now. "Good." Maribel appeared behind him in a white gown with a fur wrap around her shoulders. She looked delicate and pale, though Serena now noticed the powder at her throat, the careful dampness in her eyes, the way her knees bent only when people were looking. "Serena," Maribel breathed. "Thank the moon. I have been so worried." Halo stepped off the carriage. He placed himself between Serena and Maribel. Maribel stopped. The lion smiled. Not kindly. Cedric frowned. "Control him." Serena looked at Halo. "He is controlled. He looks ready to bite. He is considering testimony." Cale turned his face aside. Cedric's eyes narrowed. "Do you find this amusing?" Cale composed himself. "No." A dragon guard behind him whispered. "A little." Cale did not turn around. The guard became very interested in the snow. Maribel pressed a hand to her chest. "I do not understand why everyone is looking at me as if I did something terrible." Yara stepped down from the carriage. "Because we have evidence." Maribel's eyes flicked to the healer's robes. Fear flashed and vanished. "I am not well enough for accusations." Halo walked to the carriage, picked up one of the sealed display wrappers Yara had marked in red, and carried it to her. He placed it on the ground with ceremony. Yara picked it up. "Well," she said, "your illness is unusually organized." Iris made a small sound behind her hand. Serena did not smile. This mattered too much. Cedric looked from the packet to Maribel. "What is that?" Maribel swayed. Cedric moved automatically, then stopped. His hand hung in the air. Serena saw the moment he chose not to catch her. It was not redemption. It was awareness. Maribel noticed too. Her eyes widened. "Cedric?" His voice was low. "What is that?" Her lips parted. No answer came. For the first time Serena had ever seen, Maribel looked truly unwell. The public hearing was called for that evening. Chapter 13. The hand at her waist before the hearing. Serena insisted on checking the pharmacy herself. Yara wanted to send dragon guards. Cale wanted to send dragon guards, dragon healers, 3 scribes, and possibly a small legal army. Serena said no. Halo placed one paw on Cale's boot and stared at him. Cale reduced the legal army to 1 healer, 1 witness, and himself. "I am compromising," he said. "You are learning vocabulary," Serena replied. The Grey Hallow pharmacy smelled exactly as she remembered. Frost root, lavender, dry ink, and old wood. The shelves were still labeled in her handwriting. No one had changed the system. They had merely failed to understand it. 2 elders arrived while Yara examined the storage shelves. 3 junior officers followed. Then 2 curious women from the council staff. Then a wolf guard who claimed he was there to help, though he carried nothing but opinions. The small pharmacy became crowded. One elder reached across Serena to point at a shelf. Cale moved. He did not shove. He did not glare yet. He simply placed one hand at Serena's waist and drew her back half a step, placing his own body between her and the crowd. The touch was firm, warm, careful. Serena's breath caught before she could stop it. Cale's hand did not tighten. That restraint somehow made it worse. "Too close?" he asked near her ear. His voice was low enough that only she could hear it. "No," she said. The word came out too softly. His thumb shifted once against the fabric of her gown, then stopped. Across the room, a young wolf officer stared at Serena's pendant. His gaze lingered too long. Cale lifted his eyes. Nothing else changed. No flame, no raised voice. Only blue dragon eyes and the sudden feeling that the room had lost permission to breathe. The officer dropped his gaze so quickly he nearly bowed to a jar of mint leaves. Serena noticed the movement. She turned slightly and saw Cale's face arranged into mild distress. "Are you all right?" she asked. "There are many people," he said. The wolf officer stared at him in pure disbelief. Serena placed her hand over Cale's wrist where it rested near her waist. "You are safe. I am here." Behind them, Yara dropped a small metal spoon. It rang against the floor. Halo, sitting by the doorway, slowly turned his head toward Yara. Yara bent to pick up the spoon. "Medical accident," she said. Cale lowered his gaze. "I know," he told Serena. The warmth in his voice made her hand still on his wrist. For one breath, the shelves, the elders, the officers, and the evidence all blurred. She was aware only of his hand at her waist and the way he had asked before holding her close. Then Halo coughed. Not a sick cough. A supervisory cough. Serena released Cale's wrist. Cale looked at Halo. "Very well." The lion blinked once. Yara cleared her throat. "If everyone has finished testing the structural limits of the pharmacy, I found the hidden drawer." The hidden drawer was beneath Maribel's private tonic shelf. Inside were 3 more powder wrappers, 1 handkerchief stiff with residue, and a schedule. Serena picked up the schedule. Her fingers went cold. Moon feast. Council report. Lunashal fitting. Pharmacy review. Marriage announcement. Every major public moment Serena had held in the past year. Every date marked with Maribel's fainting spells. Cale looked over her shoulder. His body changed. Not visibly to everyone, but Serena felt it in the air. "She timed them," Serena said. Yara's mouth flattened. "Yes." The young wolf officer, still avoiding Cale's eyes, whispered, "By the moon." Halo walked forward, sniffed the schedule, and placed one paw on the date of Serena's birthday. Then he looked at Cedric's empty doorway. Cold humor. No sound. Sharper than a joke. Serena folded the schedule. "Bring this to the hearing." Cale's hand hovered behind her back again. He did not touch this time. He did not need to. She knew he was there. Chapter 14. Does she faint by schedule? The council hall filled before sunset. Word traveled quickly when a former future Luna returned with a dragon king, a dragon healer, a maid carrying records, and a white-winged lion who seemed personally offended by the architecture. Serena stood before the council table. Not at the Luna chair. She had refused it. The chair remained to Cedric's right, empty. Her folded silver cloak still lay over the back where she had left it. No one had moved it. That pleased her more than it should have. Cale stood behind her left shoulder, far enough not to overshadow her, close enough that his warmth reached her when the hall doors opened and cold wind slid in. Halo sat on her right. He had chosen the position himself. A scribe sat at the end of the table, pen ready. Iris stood beside Yara, pale but steady. Cedric sat below the alpha crest. Maribel sat beside him, though not as close as before. Serena noticed. So did Maribel. The chief elder opened the hearing with a grave expression. "Lady Serena Vale has requested formal review of banned powder use within the Alfair household." "I requested public review," Serena corrected. The elder blinked. "Yes, public review, because private mistakes have already cost enough." A murmur passed through the hall. Cedric's face tightened. Maribel's hands curled in her lap. Yara stepped forward first. She explained pale moon powder in clear language. No long herbal history. No dragon medicine lecture. Just enough for every old wolf in the room to understand. It imitates sickness, Yara said. It can make a healthy person appear weak. It may cause fainting, pallor, uneven pulse, and tears. More importantly, when used near a moonbound candidate, it draws vitality from that person. An elder leaned forward. Vitality? Warmth. Strength. Bond stability. In repeated exposure, years of life. The hall erupted. Cedric stood. Years? His voice cracked on the word. Yara looked at him. Yes. Cedric turned to Serena. For the first time, he looked at her as if he truly saw the space she occupied. Not the duties. Not the calm. Her. What does that mean? He asked. Serena took the folded healer's report from her sleeve. She had brought it for this moment. Not for pity. For record. She placed it on the council table. Moon-wasting condition, she said. Estimated remaining life at diagnosis, 3 years. The hall went silent. Cedric stared at the report. He did not touch it. Maribel made a tiny sound. Serena looked at her. If you faint now, choose your direction carefully. Halo is very particular about evidence. Halo's tail moved once. The first laugh came from the back of the hall. It was smothered quickly. But it mattered. Maribel's eyes filled. I did not know it would do that. Cedric turned toward her slowly. You knew what it was? I was frightened. The phrase was familiar. Small. Useful. Cedric's face emptied. Yara placed the packets on the table. Iris stepped forward with her copied records. Her voice shook at first. Then steadied. I found these in Lady Maribel's dressing room. I also copied payments from the household account. The orders increased before every public event where Lady Serena held authority. The scribe wrote quickly. The chief elder looked at Iris. You were a maid in Lady Maribel's rooms? Yes. And why come forward now? Iris swallowed. Serena looked at her. Halo leaned lightly against the young woman's skirt. Iris drew a breath. Because Lady Serena once noticed my mother's medicine was missing from the winter list. She fixed it without asking for thanks. I should have spoken sooner. I am speaking now. Serena's throat tightened. A small female arc. A quiet one. Enough. Maribel's voice sharpened. She is a servant. She hates me. Iris flinched. Halo rose. He did not pounce. He picked up the empty outer wrapper Yara had already marked as a display copy, carried it to the scribe, and set it directly beside the official inkstand. Then he returned to Iris and sat. The hall understood. The lion had chosen a witness. The mood shifted. Yara then unfolded the schedule found in the hidden drawer. The powder orders correspond to Lady Serena's public duties, she said. Moon feast. Council report. Luna shawl fitting. Pharmacy review. Marriage announcement. Each date is followed by a recorded fainting spell from Lady Maribel. The hall became very still. Kale, who had been silent, tilted his head. Does she faint by schedule? No one breathed. Halo lifted one paw and pushed the schedule toward the scribe. An elder with a red nose leaned forward. It does appear organized. Another elder whispered, remarkably organized. A third muttered, more organized than the grain office this week. Master Pell glared at him. The hall cracked, not into mockery of illness, into recognition of performance. Maribel tried to stand. Her knees bent. Cedric's hand moved by instinct, then stopped again. His fingers curled into his palm. Maribel stared at his suspended hand. For one terrible second, she understood the room no longer believed the bend of her knees. She straightened. It was the healthiest she had looked all year. Yara adjusted her spectacles. Noted. The scribe wrote that too. Cedric looked at Maribel. How many times? She shook her head. I only wanted you to see me. Cedric laughed once. It was not amusement. You made me blind. Serena watched him carefully. There it was. The temptation. For Cedric to make Maribel the sole villain and himself the deceived man. She would not allow it. No, Serena said. Cedric looked at her. Serena no. She lied. She used powder. She took what was not hers. But you chose to believe her every time because it was easier than seeing me. His face changed. She continued. You chose her cough over my reports, her tears over my warnings, her comfort over the elder's medicine, her shawl over my work, her performance over my life. Every sentence landed. No shouting, no trembling, just records spoken aloud. Cedric sat back as if struck. Maribel began crying. This time, no one moved to comfort her. The chief elder cleared his throat. Lady Maribel, do you deny possession of the powder? I did not understand. Do you deny possession? Her mouth trembled. No. The scribe wrote it. The sound of the pen was merciless. Cedric looked at the healer's report. Why did you not tell me? He asked. Serena knew the answer had been waiting inside her for weeks. I came to tell you. His eyes lifted. The night before the ceremony, I stood outside the council chamber with that report in my hand. You were holding her while you said I was strong enough to bear disappointment. His face lost color. Maribel stopped crying. The hall grew so quiet Serena heard the torches. Cedric closed his eyes. When he opened them, something in him had broken. Not enough to repair anything. Enough to finally feel it. Serena, he whispered. Cale moved behind her. Not forward. Just enough that the air warmed. Serena did not look back, but she felt steadier. Cedric noticed the movement. For once, he did not challenge it. The hearing continued. Yara confirmed the powder on the Luna shawl. Iris confirmed the delivery records. Master Pell confirmed that Serena had transferred 30 days of duties and left complete instructions. He also confirmed that the council had failed to read them. This produced an awkward silence among the elders. Halo looked at each elder in turn. One of them muttered. The handwriting was small. Serena raised an eyebrow. The elder looked at the table. Cale said quietly, a tragedy of governance. A laugh broke out near the back. Then another. Even Cedric looked like he might have laughed if his life were not collapsing. The chief elder rubbed his forehead. Let the record show the documents were complete. Thank you, Serena said. The elder winced. Chapter 15. The heart scale before the court at last. The public consequences were spoken. Maribel was stripped of any Luna candidacy. Her access to the pharmacy, council rooms, and ritual garments was revoked. Her family would repay the cost of misused medicine and fund a new elder care supply store. The remaining pale moon powder would be destroyed under healer supervision. Cedric was placed under council review. His inheritance as alpha heir would be suspended until a public fitness hearing could be completed. A murmur spread through the hall. Cedric did not argue. That surprised Serena. Then he stood. I accept it. The room went quiet. He looked at the council. I approved the expenses. I ignored the warnings. I used Serena's labor and called it loyalty. I let another woman stand in the place Serena earned. Maribel made a broken sound. Cedric did not look at her. He looked at Serena. I cannot undo it. No, Serena said. His throat moved. I know. Good. No argument. No plea disguised as apology. That was better. Not enough. But better. The chief elder turned to Serena. Lady Vale, Greyhallow owes you restitution. Your former duties will be formally recorded. Your wages and private expenditures will be repaid from the Alpha household. Your name will be restored to all pharmacy, grain, and elder care reforms. Serena nodded. And the Luna chair? The elder asked. Cedric's hand tightened. The hall waited. Serena looked at the chair. Her silver cloak rested across it. For years, she had imagined sitting there as Cedric's partner. Then she had imagined leaving it empty as a wound. Now it looked like furniture. Cold, symbolic, and badly placed. She walked to it. Cedric's breath stopped. Serena picked up her cloak. She folded it over one arm. Then she turned to the council. The chair may remain empty until Greyhallow learns that a woman's work is not loved simply because she was never paid for it. A low sound moved through the hall. Not applause. Not yet. Recognition. Cedric lowered his head. Serena faced him one last time. You may keep the empty chair, she said. I do not need it anymore. Something in his eyes shattered. She turned away before pity could confuse the room. Cale stood where she had left him. Still. Waiting. Not claiming the victory. Not reaching until she chose. Serena walked to him. The pendant at her throat warmed. The hall's attention shifted. An elder near the front suddenly stared at it more closely. Yara looked at Serena first, asking permission without a word. Serena touched the pendant, then nodded. Yara, who had apparently decided the evening was not yet dramatic enough, said, "There is one matter left for the record." Kale looked at her. Yara ignored him again. The healer faced the council. "The scale worn by Lady Serena is not jewelry. It is a heart scale of the Dragon King." The room erupted. Cedric's head snapped up. Maribel stared. The elders rose halfway from their seats. Serena froze. She had known. Mostly. But knowing in a private room was not the same as hearing it announced before 2 packs, a council, and several dragon guards who looked ready to pretend they were not emotional. Yara continued. "No one can steal a heart scale. No one can demand it. It can only be given freely by the dragon it belongs to." Serena turned slowly to Kale. He looked genuinely alarmed. Not the performed kind. Real. "It was cold," he said. The hall went silent. Serena stared at him. "You gave me a piece of your heart because I looked cold." He shifted. When phrased that way, it sounds impulsive. Halo made a sound that was unmistakably agreement. Kale looked at him. "You helped." Halo turned his head aside. The hall was too stunned to laugh. Serena was not. A breath escaped her. Then another. She began to laugh softly, not because it was foolish, but because the alternative was to cry in front of everyone who had already taken enough from her. Kale watched her laughter with such open wonder that the room blurred. Cedric saw it. That was enough. He finally understood the difference. Cedric had expected her to endure. Kale had wanted her to live. Serena stepped closer to the Dragon King. The hall watched. Kale did not move. She lifted one hand and touched the center of his chest, just below his collarbone. His breath caught. The pendant warmed beneath her throat. "Does it still hurt you?" she asked quietly. "Only when you are far away." The answer was too honest. Too much. And yet he did not pull it back. Serena's palm rested over his heart. For a moment, the public hall ceased to matter. Then Halo walked between them, sat on Kale's boot, and looked up as if reminding him to remain respectable. Kale looked down. "I know." Serena laughed again. The hall finally broke. Not into mockery. Into relief. Even some of the old women smiled. The hearing ended with formal signatures, sealed restitution orders, and Maribel being escorted from the Luna side of the hall. She looked smaller without an audience. Cedric remained near the empty chair. Serena did not go to him. As she left, he spoke. "Serena." She paused. Kale paused with her. Halo did not. He continued walking, then noticed no one followed and returned with obvious irritation. Cedric stood with both hands at his sides. "I can wait." Serena looked at the empty chair behind him. "You already know how." He flinched. She did not soften the words. Then she left Greyhallow Hall with her cloak over her arm, her winged lion at her side, and the Dragon King walking beside her like a storm that had learned manners. Chapter 16. Closer healing was not instant. Serena appreciated that. Instant cures felt suspicious, like Maribel's fainting. Yara insisted on 3 moon cycles of treatment at Dragonfort. The first cycle pushed the last traces of pale moon powder from Serena's body. It was uncomfortable, but not unbearable. Kale sat outside the healing chamber each time, because Yara would not let him inside. The first day, Serena asked why. Yara said, "Because he keeps trying to look calm while melting the door hinges." Kale, outside the door, said, "That happened once." Yara raised her voice. 4 times. Halo slept in the hall between Kale and the door, as if guarding everyone from everyone. The second cycle restored Serena's bond warmth, but one late-night attack still left her shaking beside the hearth before the heart scale steadied her again. Kale found her there. He did not sweep her into his arms. He knelt in front of her and held out both hands. "May I?" Serena was trembling too hard to be proud. She placed her fingers in his. Heat moved through his palms. Her body steadied by inches. "You could have come closer," she whispered. Kale's jaw tightened. "I wanted to." "Why didn't you?" "Because wanting is not permission." The answer hurt in a way that healed. She leaned forward until her forehead touched his shoulder. Kale went still. Then one careful hand settled between her shoulder blades. Halo, from the doorway, opened one eye. Kale looked at him. "She chose," he said softly. Halo closed his eye again. The third cycle required dragon heart fire. That frightened Serena. Not because of the fire. Because of the intimacy. Kale did not pretend otherwise. It will connect to the scale, he said in the blue fire chamber. You may feel my heartbeat. Serena stood before him in a loose white healing robe, Halo lying near the doorway with one wing over his nose. And you will feel mine? Yes. Is that dangerous? For whom? For you. Kale's eyes softened. I am not afraid of your heart. That was unfair. No one should be allowed to say things like that in a room full of blue flame. Serena looked at the circle of fire on the stone floor. I am afraid of depending on someone. I know. If this works, I do not want anyone saying you saved me. Kale nodded. Then they will not. I left. I came here. I agreed to the hearing. I faced them. Yes. And you helped. His mouth curved. I was hoping to be mentioned. Serena smiled. You helped very dramatically. I can be less dramatic. Halo lifted his head. Both Serena and Kale looked at him. Halo lowered his head again, unconvinced. Kale held out his hand. Serena placed hers in it. His fingers closed around her palm. Heat rose between them. Not burning. Deep. Alive. The pendant at her throat flashed blue. Kale drew one slow breath. Serena felt it in her own chest. His heartbeat. Steady, powerful, restrained. Then he felt hers. She knew because his hand tightened. Not enough to hurt. Enough to confess. Still here, she whispered. His eyes closed for 1 second. Yes. The fire rose around them. Serena stepped closer by instinct. Kale's other hand hovered near her waist. Waiting. Always waiting. She looked up. You may. His hand settled at her waist. The contact was careful, but the restraint in him was not cold. It was heat held behind a gate. Serena felt it. She saw it in the line of his jaw, the stillness of his shoulders, the way his eyes dropped once to her mouth and returned immediately to her eyes like a man with manners fighting a dragon with opinions. Her own breath changed. Kale noticed. Of course he did. Too close, he asked. No. Not close enough? Serena almost forgot the fire. Halo made a soft sound from the doorway. Not an interruption. A warning that he was awake and taking notes. Serena smiled without looking away from Kale. Do not become smug. Kale's expression was solemn. I am never smug. Halo sneezed. Serena laughed. The fire brightened. Kale's thumb moved once against her waist. The heat poured through the heart scale, into her chest, through the cold places the powder had left behind. Pain rose. Then broke. Serena gasped. Kale started to step back. She held his hand. No. Stay. He went still. Then he stayed. The chamber filled with blue light. When it faded, Serena was on her knees. Kale knelt before her, one hand behind her back, the other still holding hers. Her body felt exhausted, but the hollow place inside her ribs was gone. Not filled by him. Closed. He searched her face. Serena? She breathed in. No ache. No cold. No invisible thread pulling her life away. She laughed once, then cried before she could stop it. Kale looked terrified. Oh no, he said. That made her laugh harder. I am not dying. He stared. The words trembled through her. I am not dying. Kale's face changed. The terrifying Dragon King, mountain ruler, giver of heart scales, looked as if he might actually fall apart. Serena touched his cheek. You look worse than I did in the snow. His voice came rough. I was very frightened. I know. I am still frightened. I know. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his. It was not a kiss. Not yet. It was closer in some ways. His breath stopped, then eased. Halo stood, stretched, and walked out of the chamber. For once, he gave them the room. Chapter 17. A room with a door. Cedric's final letter came 1 month after the hearing. Serena read it in the Dragonfort garden, where warm springs kept moon orchids alive even in winter. Kale sat on a stone bench nearby, pretending not to watch. Halo lay across his boots. The white-winged lion had discovered that Dragon Kings made excellent heated furniture. Serena unfolded the letter. Serena, the council has confirmed the suspension. I will not inherit until I complete 3 years of service in the northern villages. Maribel has been removed from all court positions. Her family has begun repayment. The pharmacy fund has been restored in your name. I have ordered the Luna chair moved from the council hall. It was not mine to keep empty. I do not ask you to come back. I only wanted you to know that I finally read every page you left. Cedric. Serena read the last line twice. Then she folded the letter. Cale's voice came carefully. Bad. No. Good. No. He nodded. Complicated. Yes. Halo opened one eye. Serena looked at him. Do not burn it. Halo closed his eye, disappointed. Cale's hand rested on the bench between them. Not touching her. Available. Serena placed the letter in her lap. Cedric is going north. Good. He will be useful there. Cale's face remained neutral with admirable difficulty. Also good. You do not like him. I am trying to be graceful. Are you succeeding? No. Serena smiled. Cale looked at her smile and lost some of his attempted grace. You are healthier, he said. That is an abrupt change of subject. It is my favorite subject. Her chest warmed. The pendant remained at her throat. She wore it every day now. Not because it kept her alive anymore, though it still protected her. Because she wanted to. I have been thinking, she said. Cale became very still. Halo opened both eyes. Serena looked between them. You both look guilty. Cale said, We are attentive. Halo blinked slowly. Serena reached into her pocket and pulled out a small silver chain. Cale's gaze dropped to it. What is that? A replacement clasp. For the heart scale? Yes. His expression shifted to concern. Is the old one uncomfortable? No. But this one opens only from the front. He looked confused. Serena stood and walked to him. Halo moved his head off Cale's boot with theatrical inconvenience. Serena stopped before Cale. He looked up at her from the bench. That was rare. She liked it. I spent years wearing things other people placed on me, she said. The Luna cloak. Cedric's gifts. Duties no one named. Expectations no one paid for. Cale's face grew quiet. Serena touched the pendant. This is different. You gave it to protect me. But I choose to keep wearing it. His throat moved. She held out the new clasp. So I want to be able to take it off if I choose. And put it back on when I choose. Cale stood slowly. He towered over her again, but his voice was soft. Yes. No protest. No wounded pride. No claim. Just yes. Serena turned. He moved behind her. His fingers brushed her hair aside. The contact sent a warm line down her spine. She felt his breath pause near the back of her neck. This time, she did not mistake her reaction for fear. He removed the old clasp and fastened the new one. His knuckles grazed her skin. Serena closed her eyes for one heartbeat. When she opened them, Halo was watching with narrowed golden eyes. Do not start, she told him. Halo placed one paw over his nose. Cale stepped back. Serena turned. There, she said. Now it is chosen. Cale looked at the pendant. Then at her. I built something, he said. That surprised her. Should I worry? Yara said I should not present it dramatically. That means you plan to. Yes. What is it? He led her through the garden to a smaller courtyard beyond the moon orchids. There, warmed by dragon glass and blue flame channels, stood a room that had not existed before. Not a throne room. Not a bedroom. A library. Tall shelves lined the walls. A writing desk faced the mountains. There was a low couch near the fire, a wide window ledge where Halo could sit, and a carved perch broad enough for a winged lion who believed himself above ordinary cushions. Serena stepped inside. On the desk lay fresh ledgers. Blank ones. Not Greyhallow ledgers. Not duty ledgers. Hers. Cale stood at the doorway. I know you may not stay, he said. But if you ever want a place to keep your books, or your accounts, or your lion's unreasonable opinions, this room is yours. Halo flew past Serena and landed on the perch. He inspected it, then lay down. The verdict was clear. Serena touched the desk. Her throat tightened. You built me an office? Yes. Not a chair beside yours? I considered that. And you did not seem fond of symbolic chairs. She laughed softly. He stepped closer, still careful. So I built a room with a door you may close. That undid her more than any throne could have. A room of her own. A door she controlled. A place given without debt. Serena turned to him. What if I do not stay? Cale's answer came at once. Then the room waits. What if I travel? I will send maps. What if I choose to build something elsewhere? I will invest badly and pretend not to be proud. She smiled through the pressure in her chest. What if I choose you? Cale went silent. It was the first time she had truly shocked him. Halo lifted his head. The entire courtyard seemed to hold its breath. Serena stepped closer. I am not choosing because you saved me. I know. I am not choosing because I owe you. I know. I am choosing because you gave me space when I needed it, warmth when I was cold, and a scale from your heart before you had any right to ask for mine. His eyes brightened with blue fire. I still have no right to ask. No, Serena said. You have an invitation. The word landed. Cale took one step toward her, then stopped. May I? Serena smiled. Yes. He cupped her face with both hands, as if she were something precious and living, not something to own. When he kissed her, it was gentle for one breath. Then not as gentle. Serena gripped the front of his coat. Heat moved through the heart scale, through his hands, through her newly healed chest. Not taking, answering. Behind them, Halo made a quiet sound. Cale froze. Serena pulled back just enough to say, ignore him. Cale looked deeply relieved. Halo huffed, then turned his back with noble restraint. Serena laughed against Cale's mouth. Cale smiled, and then he kissed her again. Chapter 18. The dragon who let her choose spring came early to Dragonfort. At least, that was what the dragon guards claimed after Serena began spending mornings in her new library. Yara said the weather had not changed. The guards insisted the fortress felt brighter. Cale said nothing, but blue flowers appeared along the heated paths. Serena did not ask who planted them. She had learned that dragon kings were capable of committing tenderness and pretending it was architecture. News came from Grey Hallow every few weeks. The northern villages improved under Cedric's service. He sent reports now. Actual reports. Short, clear, signed by the village elders as well as himself. Serena read them without pain. That was how she knew she was truly free. Maribel's family completed the first repayment to the pharmacy fund. Iris, to Serena's quiet joy, was appointed assistant record keeper under Master Pell. The first note Iris sent contained 3 lines. Lady Serena, Master Pell says my handwriting is too small. I told him governance is a tragedy. Serena laughed so hard Halo came to check on her. Cale asked what was funny. Serena showed him the note. He looked pleased in the reserved way of a man whose bad joke had entered public administration. On the first full moon of spring, Dragonfort hosted a small ceremony. Not a wedding. Not yet. Serena had insisted on time. Cale had agreed so quickly that Yara accused him of frightening everyone with emotional maturity. The ceremony was simpler. A formal alliance between Serena Vale, independent Luna consultant of Grey Hallow reforms, and the Dragon Court of Draven. The title had been Cale's idea. Serena had edited it twice. Halo had stepped in ink and approved the final copy. Representatives from Grey Hallow attended. Cedric came too. He stood with the northern elders, dressed plainly, without alpha gold. When he saw Serena, he bowed. Not like a lover, not like an owner, like a man acknowledging what he had lost and what she had become. Serena inclined her head. That was enough. Cale stood beside her in black and bronze, his blue eyes calm, his hand open near hers. The heart scale rested against her throat. No longer hidden, no longer unexplained. Halo sat between them, white wings gleaming in moonlight. The chief dragon elder began the ceremony. Serena signed first. Her name looked steady. Serena Vale. Cale signed next. Then he offered her the second pen, though she did not need it. A small, ridiculous gesture. She took it anyway. When the documents were sealed, the courtyard applauded. Not wildly. Dragon courts did not do wild unless someone threatened the treasury. But warmly. Sincerely. Safe. Afterward, Cedric approached while Cale was speaking with Yara. Halo watched him with open suspicion. Cedric stopped at a respectful distance. I will not stay long, he said. That is wise. Halo has a schedule. Cedric looked at the lion. Halo yawned. Cedric smiled faintly. He still hates me. He has excellent memory. Yes. The silence between them was not comfortable. But it was clean. Cedric looked at the mountains. I wanted to say that I understand now. Serena did not answer. He looked back. Not everything. I will not insult you by claiming that. But enough to know I was not careless once. I was careless every day. That was better than apology. Less pretty. More useful. Serena nodded. Then do something with the knowledge. I am trying. I know. His eyes softened with pain. But he did not step closer. Good. I hope he makes you happy, Cedric said. Serena looked across the courtyard. Cale stood very still while Yara scolded him about overusing ceremonial fire. He looked solemn and faintly wounded, though Serena could see the tiny blue flame curling proudly near his sleeve. He does, she said. Cedric followed her gaze. He is not as helpless as you think. Serena smiled. No, but he enjoys when I think so. Cedric blinked. Then, despite everything, he laughed once. A real laugh. Small. Tired. Released. He looked at me once, Cedric said. My wolf tried to resign from my body. Serena turned to Halo. Did you know about this? Halo looked away. Of course you did. Cedric bowed again. Goodbye, Serena. Goodbye, Cedric. This time, the word did not hurt. He left before moonrise. Serena watched him go. Cale came to stand beside her. He spoke to you. Yes. Cale's tone remained controlled. Did he upset you? No. Did he stand too close? No. Did he breathe unnecessarily? Serena looked up at him. His face was grave. Too grave. She narrowed her eyes. Are you jealous of breathing? I am evaluating it. Halo made a soft choking sound. Serena laughed. Cale's expression warmed immediately. Serena saw it clearly. The court tried not to stare. Their terrifying king seemed brighter every time she laughed. Come with me, he said. Where? The upper terrace. Is this dramatic? Yara said no. That means yes. He offered his hand. She took it. The upper terrace overlooked the moonlit mountains. Stars spread across the sky. Far below, blue fires marked the fortress roads. The wind was cold, but Serena no longer feared cold. Cale stood behind her and wrapped his cloak around her shoulders. This time, he did not ask whether he could stand close. He knew. She leaned back against him. His arms settled around her waist. The contact was warm, steady, and chosen. Halo landed on the stone rail beside them. For once, he did not intrude. He simply watched the mountains like a small white king. Cale lowered his head near Serena's ear. I have one concern. Only one. I am choosing optimism. What is it? If you keep calling me gentle, the court may become confused. Serena looked at the dragon guards posted at the terrace doors. All four looked away quickly. Too late, she said. Cale sighed. I feared so. You can glare at people tomorrow. That helps. But tonight you are mine. The words slipped out softly. They surprised them both. Cale went utterly still. Serena turned in his arms. The moon lit his face, severe and beautiful and more vulnerable than anyone else would ever believe. Is that acceptable? She asked. His voice was low. Serena, I gave you my heart scale because I could not bear the thought of the world losing you after one night. Her breath caught. He touched the pendant at her throat, then stopped before his fingers reached her skin. Still asking. Always asking. She covered his hand with hers and brought it against the scale. It warmed beneath both their palms. You may call me yours, he said. But only if I may spend the rest of my life proving I know you belong first to yourself. There were better vows in old books. Longer ones. More formal ones. None would have suited her more. Serena rose on her toes and kissed him. Halo waited until the kiss had become properly serious. Then he reached out one paw and gently pushed Cale's dragon tail, which had appeared without permission, away from the edge of the terrace. Cale broke the kiss just enough to look down. When did that happen? Serena looked too. The dark dragon tail curled across the stone, betraying him completely. She laughed into his chest. Cale closed his eyes. I remain a careful king. Halo stared at the tail. Serena patted Cale's chest. Of course. The tail moved once, very much like a pleased dog's. Halo turned his back on them in disgust. Serena kept laughing. And Cale, feared ruler of the dragon court, terror of mountain treaties according to frightened gossip, lowered his face into her hair and looked perfectly content to be judged by a winged lion. Epilogue. The choice in the years that followed, Serena heard Grey Hallow repeat the story of the empty Luna chair. Not as shame alone. As a lesson. A chair could be filled by a woman's work for years while no one noticed her hands. It could be decorated, praised, used, and taken for granted. But when she finally rose from it, The whole hall felt the cold. Serena did not return to that chair. She built better rooms. A pharmacy fund that could not be redirected for vanity. A record office where Iris eventually became chief keeper. A winter route system that even elders with poor eyesight could read. A guest room in Dragonfort for any woman who needed time, warmth, and a door she could close. On the lintel, Halo scratched 3 neat marks. Yara claimed it was damage. Serena called it a signature. Kale called it law. No one argued with all 3 of them. Maribel's name faded from the court faster than her powder had ever worked. Her family paid restitution for years. She was not harmed, not hidden, not turned into a grand tragedy. She was simply removed from every place where performance had once been mistaken for worth. Cedric stayed in the northern villages after his 3 years ended. He did not become alpha. Not because Serena demanded it, because the pack did not ask him. That perhaps was the cleanest consequence. He learned to read reports before making speeches. He learned that illness was not proven by softness. He learned that a woman's silence was not consent. And every year, on the night of the moon ceremony, he sat before a plain wooden desk and wrote 1 letter he never sent. Serena knew because Iris told her. She did not ask to read them. Some empty chairs belonged to the people who made them. As for the Dragon King, his reputation suffered terribly. Border villagers stopped using his name as a threat in winter gossip. Old women began saying he had good manners. One dragon guard was overheard calling him domesticated and immediately requested reassignment to a quiet lava post. Kale blamed Serena. Serena blamed Halo. Halo accepted full credit. On the first anniversary of the night, Serena overheard Cedric choose another woman. She stood on the Dragonfort terrace beneath clean moonlight. The heart scale rested against her chest. Her body was strong. Her hands were warm. Her future was not measured in 3 years anymore. Kale came to stand beside her in dragon form, vast and black gold, blue eyes bright with ancient fire. He lowered his great head until she could place both hands on his snout. Halo perched between his horns like an arrogant crown. Serena looked at the winged lion. "You are very comfortable up there." Halo blinked. Kale's great voice rumbled through the terrace. "He believes he outranks me." "He might." "I feared that." Serena smiled and stroked the dragon's scaled brow. Once, she had been told she was strong enough to bear disappointment. Now she knew the truth. She was strong enough to leave it. Strong enough to heal. Strong enough to laugh again. Strong enough to choose a love that did not need her to disappear in order to feel needed. Kale closed his eyes beneath her touch. The whole mountain seemed to quiet around them. "You are not frightening at all," she whispered. Behind her, a dragon guard made a sound like he had swallowed a bell. Kale opened one blue eye. Serena smiled. "To me." The dragon relaxed again. Halo gave a soft, approving huff. And under the spring moon, with the old life behind her and the warm mountain below her feet, Serena Vale finally understood that being chosen was not the highest form of love. Choosing was. And she chose the door she could close, the room she could fill, the winged lion who judged everyone, the dragon who gave her his heart before asking for hers. If you were Serena, would you ever return to the alpha who noticed the empty chair too late, or would you choose the Dragon King who gave his heart first? Share your answer below, and subscribe for more moonlit romance library stories.